What's going on, people? Welcome to another episode of the Mike Roach Podcast, brought to you by the one and only OXP Media and the Battle Canada series. You already know who I am, your boy Mike Roach, TV broadcast assistant for the Toronto Raptors. And if you have not already done so, make sure you follow us at the OXP.media on Instagram, at Mike Roach7 on Instagram, OXP Media, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, Anchor, wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you follow us at OXP Media. Now, guys, Game 3 is complete with the Toronto Raptors and the Brooklyn Nets in the first round of the 2020 playoffs. And it was an absolute rout. 117-92 Toronto Raptors over the Brooklyn Nets. And they take a commanding 3-0 lead over Brooklyn. Guys, this game was never in doubt from the beginning. Never in doubt from the beginning. This was an absolute beatdown. It was an absolute beatdown. And at this point, I'm not sure what the Brooklyn Nets can do. They're just going to have to man up and take their beating like men. I'm just being honest with you. The talent is just not there. We have to remember, this is not a fair fight. This isn't a fair fight. Brooklyn doesn't have their squad. But at the end of the day, that's not the Raptors' problem. You just got to come out and take your pummeling like men. That's about it. No disrespect. No disrespect. Those guys are playing hard over there on the Nets. They really are. Jacques Vaughn's doing a hell of a job. But at the end of the day, they just don't have what it takes. I mean, the Raptors are healthy, right? And one dude in particular went off in Game 3 for the Toronto Raptors. Well, I wouldn't say he went off, but damn it, he was just about on his average. Pascal Siakam. Okay, Pascal Siakam, like I said, after Game 2 would be the X factor for Game 3. And that's exactly what he was. 26 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 11 to 23 from the field. And Pascal Siakam put on a nice little display against the Brooklyn Nets in Game 3. And I was happy to see it. He hasn't played stellar in the first round of the playoffs against Brooklyn thus far. But he's going to have to when they go up against the Boston Celtics in the next round, because they're up 3-0 as well, and they're about to sweep the Philadelphia 76ers. But with Pascal Siakam, when I watch him, I do get concerned at times, because I feel like, especially on the offensive end, that he makes the game a little bit more difficult than it actually has to be. I understand he's shooting a lot of three-point shots, and he doesn't necessarily have to. I think that's part of the game plan for the Toronto Raptors, for him to get those reps up, especially before they get to the second round. I mean, let's face it, they have it easy in the first round against Brooklyn. They really, really do. They ain't got nobody for their squad. They have no one. No Kyrie, no Dinwiddie, no Durant. Harris is gone now. All they have is LeVert and whatever Jared Allen can do in the middle. But that's all they got. But anyway, Pascal Siakam put together a decent game finally in Game 3. And he did well. And, we're really going to expect it in the second round. I guess we can give him a little bit of a pass now. And he's been playing well. He hasn't been shooting the ball well, but overall, he has been playing well. So let's not sleep on that. Basketball is a lot more to do with the totality of what you produce on both ends of the floor, rather than just what your field goal percentage is. Okay, now let's look at some of the numbers from this game. Okay, so 117-92 for the Toronto Raptors over Brooklyn. 46 points in the paint for the Toronto Raptors compared to 22 for the Brooklyn Nets. 46 for 91. So the Raptors shot 50% from the field in this game compared to 30 for 90 for the Brooklyn Nets, just 33%. And I am telling you, people, the Toronto Raptors defense really, really goes a long way. Really goes a long way. I mean, when it comes to defense, you got to put respect on the Raptors' name. You have to. That's something that can't be denied. These guys have heart. They play hard. Nick Nurse, Coach of the Year, just announced maybe an hour ago. Anybody who's in the T-Dot or following the Toronto Raptors should be extremely proud of Nick Nurse, second year on the job. Wins Coach of the Year. He has done a fantastic job. And everybody should be proud of Nick Nurse for what he's done. I mean, the guy's phenomenal. He knows how to adjust. His schematics on both ends, defensively and on offense, are just fantastic. I mean, he'll go back into his playbook from the AAU days and overseas and whatever he has to be able to come up with something that's going to work, and you got to give him full credit for that. So, Nick Nurse, congratulations on your Coach of the Year. Now, more stats. 47%, 18 from 38 from three-point range. The Toronto Raptors, 56-42 rebounding. I mean, there was no way in hell they were going to lose this game. 35 assists on 46 field goals. I mean, the Brooklyn Nets. It's a wrap for Brooklyn. Wait, hold on, sweetie. I let you in here to watch me do this podcast live. The only thing I had to ask you to do was to be quiet while I'm doing the show. I got like 3 minutes left. Can you handle that? Yes or no? No? My goodness. Goodness gracious. Guys, the last thing I want to talk to you about, because honestly, this podcast really isn't not that serious, because this is a wrap for the Toronto Raptors on Sunday. Possible schematics for the Brooklyn Nets. Now, personally, I get ticked off a little bit with the coaching because I feel like more coaches in the NBA don't try enough different schemes when it comes to their offense and defense. I think they should try it a little bit more. Schematics, whatever the case may be. I understand to a certain degree why they don't, because the talent is so high in the NBA. Whether you put on a full court press, a half court trap, zones, all that kind of stuff, if it is not executed to perfection, the opposing team will run all over you and crush whatever you're doing and get themselves easy baskets. So I do get it, but I mean, when you're desperate and your team is depleted and you got to try something, I would hope that Brooklyn really tries, some full court press, half court trap, all the stuff I just mentioned, to try and get a W. It's not going to work. It's probably not going to work. High percentage that it won't. But at the end of the day, all you got in your lineup at this point, really, that people actually know and care about is Karis LeVert. And you don't know how consistent anybody else is going to be in regards to scoring. Even on the defense as well. Except for Tyler Johnson, who put up a lot of threes in Game 3 and made them. You don't know exactly what's going to happen. And I'll say this. Brooklyn is probably going to be a lot more physical in Game 4 because of the desperation of being eliminated. So expect maybe one or two. I wouldn't say two, but expect at least a flagrant foul in the first half somewhere, especially if they take a deep deficit in regards to the score. Right, so look out for that. There's going to be a lot more physical play, probably bumping guys in and out the lane and whatnot. Slashers, cutters for the Toronto Raptors. Probably guys like Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, and whatnot. But that's just the way it's going to be, because this series is an absolute wrap, okay? So we're going to be meeting Boston in the second round. Don't mean to sound cocky, but that's just the way it's going to be. 3-0 series lead in each series. No team has ever come back from a 3-0 deficit in the NBA. And with that being said, this podcast is a wrap. Another episode of the Mike Roach Podcast reviewing Game 3 of the Toronto Raptors and the Brooklyn Nets. And I will be back at you with a special episode, with a review and a special episode after the conclusion of this series. So this is another episode of the Mike Roach podcast. Looking forward to speaking to you again soon at Mike Roach 7 on Instagram, oxp.media, oxp media on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcasts. And looking forward to speaking to you again soon. Peace.